Is this one as... Oh, I was going to ask you if that one's as loud as the old one. I got a different tank on the tutor.
I didn't hear it.
All right, here. We'll give a rare treat for the audio listeners.
Well, they might be able to tell if you weren't breaking up, Captain.
Ah, jeez. Look at this. That I did when I was getting my quarterly supplies when I was home last time. There was a guy that had one that sounded like the Predator. It was something about the way it wicked. It just gurgled and clicked like the Predator from the movies. It sounded, if he hid in a bush, you could think that there was an alien nearby.
Well, maybe that's why I need to take into the woods with me.
Yeah, I could do that. Yeah, you're not baiting the deer. Oh. It just happens to smell like cotton candy and fruit.
Right. Yeah. That's worked for me in the past.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll just hang out nearby.
We got the follow up to the deer story. We better start the show first.
Yeah, we better start the show. Yeah, start the show.
And welcome to another episode of Drake and Maestro. Almost relevant.
And almost live.
Almost.
Almost intelligible.
Time for the penguin on top of your television set to explode.
I wouldn't go that far, no.
No. It's a bridge too far, for sure.
Yeah. Well, and we ran out of time last week, but I was saying.
Totally.
I was out in the woods getting choked by my own ghillie poncho.
Ghillie. Hey, somewhere out there's a vegan going, see, you shouldn't do that.
Yeah. But the deer are like, no, keep it up.
No, please.
We haven't had a show this good forever.
Since the blizzard of 73.
And it's the back of the poncho that was draped over the chair. So it was draped over the seat. And then the seat the back of the seat fed into the wheel. And then the wheel took it from there.
Yeah, you needed to learn from The Incredibles, which is no capes.
No capes. No capes.
No capes.
So I was like, I'm going to cut myself out. But my neck is pinned between the seat back and the poncho neckline. So if I'm cutting myself out, cutting the front is going to help me. I've got to cut the back, right? Or I've got to get that blade right
up next to your neck and try to wedge it in there without slicing either your arteries or your throat.
And I'm not carrying your typical, Gerber knife. I'm carrying a Havilon.
Right, it's a scalpel. It's a folding scalpel.
It's a scalpel. Yes, it's a folding scalpel.
That's not an exaggeration.
They use for autopsies mostly.
Yeah, it's a number 60 replaceable scalpel blade on a handle that with a foldable arm.
Yeah.
And then you've got your knife, which I need to sharpen for you. But then you've got your knife, which is also as sharp as a scalpel.
And it's pretty darn good. So I'm thinking, do I want a scalpel up my neck? Well, if I lose consciousness, what the hell? I'll give it a try. But
right, yeah.
I appreciate you turning me on to those because it was like nothing but knife frustration, trying to field dress. And the scalpels makes all the difference.
Oh yeah, the scalpel knives.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're great.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you want
clean.
For listeners out there, we gave cigar advice last week. For this week, I'll give knife advice. It had to be like Maestro's advice corner or something. If you're hunting a lot and you're doing a lot of dressing, and a lot of experienced hunters already know this, your knife gets dull. It's just the fact of life. Get the scalpel knife. I'm a big proponent of really nice knives. I have a lot of them. I collect knives. But if for that kind of use case, a scalpel blade is more useful and it's replaceable. So if you're in the field and it gets dull, you put a new blade on it, you keep going.
Mm-hmm. Right. And the Havilon, you get the Havilon system. They got the holder because it's sharp as heck. So they got the holder to help you change the blade, and the new blades come sealed. And if you have to cut yourself free for the poncho, you can snap in a new blade and be ready to go for the next thing.
Or
it's great.
If you Dick Cheney somebody, at least you can do some surgery.
Right. Oh my gosh. So and of course the poncho that's wrapped up on my back is on my good shoulder. So I got to take the bad shoulder and it will automatically dislocate when I try to reach back there, which will mean I'll lose a lot of fine control. So then I'm just hacking and slashing with the scalpel around my back. It doesn't seem any safer than slowly choking.
No, we're gonna have a repeat of the machete incident.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, do not apply directly to the forehead.
Right.
Oh, that's when it's like, well, you know what? I'm going to try the
learned
joystick to the other and just engage the other motor and see if I can just pivot around. And sure enough, the pivot worked. And
Pivot.
here I am telling you the story about it. Yeah. Gosh. Oh.
Boy, what a eulogy that would be to write.
Yeah.
Guy doing what he loved, joking on nothing.
Be honest about it, right? Be honest.
No, that you can't sugarcoat that. You can't sugarcoat that like you would for a tragic death. That's not a tragic death. That's my dad was out in the field being a moron and killed himself.
It's an idiot. And the people don't know will be like, yeah, that's about right.
Yeah, that's about right.
It's just like I asked my wife, if I
Our
ever
beloved
grab my chest and go
dumbass.
down in public, you have to roll me on. I told her, I said, if I ever grab my chest and go down in public, you need to just roll me on my back, start CPR, and be screaming out, oh no, you're not getting away from me that easy.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because I want that in the report. I want eyewitness reports.
I need that. If I ever do get married, I need that in my vows. That's going to be. That's if I ever go. You need.
Yeah. Oh no, you're not getting away from me that easy.
To jump on top. And that's a specific kind of woman that's willing to do that.
Right. Yeah,
That's a very specific kind of woman that's willing to do that. That's right. That's willing to find the right one. That one.
That's right.
And one that agrees to the Spaceballs marriage. Do you? Yes. Do you? Yes. Good. You're married. Kiss her.
Yeah, I always like that one. None of this.
No long speeches.
13 hours of special music and.
It's either that or I need to find the priest from The Princess Bride. True love marriage.
Both.
Did I ever tell you that there was a priest at the Lutheran grade school I went to that sounded just like that?
Well, there
he was visiting. Well, yeah, he was visiting from another parish or whatever you call it when they're Lutheran.
From another movie, he was there from another movie.
Marriage is what brings us together today.
Right. Well, he was a visiting speaker. He was from another Lutheran church, and Mom and I were at church that Sunday. We had to leave because he got up and did the reading, and we thought, okay, if he just did it was hard enough for us to control ourselves during the reading because he had that marriage, that exact timbre and cadence. It was bad, and I made eye contact with Mom, and we both kind of had to look up. And it was like, okay, we can't look at each other because if either of us looks at the other one, that's it. It's over. We're gonna die laughing. And so we made it through the reading, and she kind of leaned over, and I was like, okay, if he does the sermon, we gotta go. We're not gonna make it through a sermon.
True.
It was that. It's like we're not making it through a sermon. It's not gonna happen. I was 12, 13.
Yeah, right.
So it's not going to happen. We're not going to make it through a sermon. And sure enough, he gets up to do the sermon. It's, so we both quietly, I excused myself first to go to the bathroom and then waited in the lobby and Mom excused herself to go to the bathroom and we just left. So we didn't go back that day. It was just, now we're done.
You know what? You know what the diocese is doing,
baby, because what?
It's like, hey, you want to see a whole congregation of Lutherans trying to hold it together? Here, let's put this guy up as the
put this guy up. That's right. Let's see how stoic they really are.
That's right. How devoted are you? It was a test.
It might have been. It sure seemed like it. If it wasn't a test from the church, it was a test from the Lord, and we failed miserably.
Because the funniest thing is, the guy's phone voice is completely normal. As soon as he steps down, as soon as he steps away from the lectern and the altar, he's like totally normal.
Normally,
so you're going to greet him, as you're walking out, going to greet him. Hey, how you doing?
That's exactly what happened. He greeted him because when you walk in at that church, when you walk in, they stand at the doors to the sanctuary, and you shake hands with everyone, right? As you go in, especially with a guest speaker, right? And he did. He had a mostly normal speaking voice.
Right. It was just.
And the problem is, I started it. I put the thought at Mom's head because it came to me first. I heard him speaking, and I just leaned over to Mom and go, "Marriage," and she went, "Oh no!" It was great. I started it, and then I created my own problem.
Yes, you did. See, that's what you. It runs in the family. We all create our own problems.
We all create our own problems. I just I could not hear it, and then mom's
Well, that's right.
giving me dirty looks because I'm trying not to laugh. And I had to clue her in because I knew probably heard it and just didn't make the connection until I made it for her. And it was all you, and it was all over from there.
Yep.
Because we didn't know he was going to be a guest speaker.
Nothing left to do but to roll the credits.
That's right. And it's just, we're out. That's it. We're done. We're going to get breakfast and leave because that's about all we can do at this point. And that's not it's a well-loved movie, but I wouldn't say it's a well-known movie. It is but it wasn't then.
I think it is.
I don't think it is. As I've referenced it to a bunch of people, and no one knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but how many people... never mind.
How many people have the weird obsessive brain that we have? Not many.
Well, no, I mean, how many people go around with movie references?
A bunch.
Of course,
that's all pop culture is. It's movie references.
Well, then why? Then we need more listeners because that's all this thing is. Movie references and nonsense.
No good. I've known too many Spaniards.
That's right.
almost do an entire podcast of Princess Bride quotes.
Well,
but then you have to get used to disappointment.
I was working in a warehouse with a guy I became friends with. His name was Russell. And we made a bet that we could work an entire day speaking nothing but movie quotes.
Yeah. If you expand it to just all movies that you've ever seen, yeah, you can probably do that.
Yeah. And we did. And then since we won the bet, we forget what we did as a reward.
So what would happen if you lost the bet? Is there like one person that loses, or can you both?
Yeah,
do you both lose?
I think if someone drops the ball, everybody suffers. I think that's how that worked. But I don't remember the penalty other than having to work there.
I'd have to just rely on my old favorite Darth Vader quote: "I've altered the deal. Pray I do not alter it further."
Yeah. Well, that's like how fast do you need to be able to run to get away from a bear? Just faster than your friend. That's right.
Faster than you, as you crack him in the knees.
Yeah. So I was I was reading the news.
You were reading?
I actually do reading. Yes, I prefer to read my news rather than consume it in
When did you learn to do that?
Content. Well,
I never learned to read.
Is that true? Well, except for the reading part.
That's right. Thanks, Bill Murray.
There's a boy, and it makes sense, but I didn't realize this could happen. Now, you're familiar with autistic picky eaters, yes? Mm-hmm.
Yes, being one myself, yes.
All right, well, be careful you don't go blind. Because...
Oh, I just saw that headline.
Did you see that? 12-year-old boy?
Yeah, the kid that went blind because all he would eat is French fries, chicken nuggets, and something else. It was like pizza or something.
Plain cheeseburgers, juice boxes, and something else. Because he had, I can tell you, as a little bit on the autistic scale, I have texture aversion, where, clothes
Foods.
that got a food. Well, not so much food. So I'm a good walrus. I got no problem with that.
Yeah, because you don't like my devil pen. I forget which pen it is, but you don't.
No, that's right.
One pen
It's
that
you hate. Right. It's the weird crosshatch, fine laser cut. It's like, get out of the way.
Yeah. It's the hexamatic. That's right. It's the hexamatic.
Yeah.
You don't like the hexamatic.
Yeah, that was a big problem for my mother growing up because I would always want to wear my favorite worn-in clothes because the newer stuff is just crispy and I just tactily defensive. So this boy has that with food.
Yeah, he has flavors he likes, and that's it.
Textures. They said it was specifically text. So it was plain cheeseburgers, juice boxes, and something else.
French fries. And like chicken nuggets. Yeah, it was it. That was all he would eat. It wasn't a lot.
First of all,
he got like tunnel vision in the middle of his eye.
Well, he went completely blind.
No, he was getting like tunnel vision. Like he was losing spots in his blind.
He was starting to lose. He was basically undergoing macular degeneration. Right,
and they figured that they gave him some vitamins, but the loss that he sustained until now is permanent.
Yeah. I'm
not that picky. I do eat greens on occasion.
Drake and the Maestro's eating tips, which most of them listeners you should not follow. However, one that you should follow is that if your meal is all one color, like all brown, you need more variety.
Or maybe lean into some multivitamins or something. Like get some vitamins in your system.
So God forbid you ever eat a vegetable.
Is that another movie quote? I think that is another movie quote.
Oh, it's nothing else. Yeah, it's well, if you get, but the thing with multis is you got to get a good one. Flintstones isn't going to
Well,
cut
you gotta
it.
get no. That's for
Okay.
kids.
And even Centrum is, you need something like Source
No,
of
you
Life
gotta
or
get
something
some
like that.
decent. Yeah, you gotta get
Yeah.
decent vitamins.
Yeah.
Don't cheap out on the thing that's gonna keep you from getting scurvy and rickets and going blind.
All
Some
the
of that
pirate
also
diseases.
could be all the pirate diseases. When you get to adulthood, some of the stuff that can happen when you don't get the vitamins isn't the same as when you're a kid.
Yeah.
Because when you're young, you're still developing.
So look at the
I got
look at the
I just drink
meal.
Brondo.
Look
It's
at
got
the
what
meal
plants
on
crave.
TV. Look at the stuff getting advertised on television, right? So like I saw KFC's bowl. They were doing the KFC thing, and everything on the screen was brown.
Brown. It's all brown.
You instantly know if it's an all brown meal, it ain't good for you.
Probably not. No.
And you look at the burger ads when they're trying to sell
All
a really
brown.
big, well, if you look at a burger ad when they're really trying to get you enticed, it's crisp green lettuce and red tomatoes, and it's got a lot of color, right?
Uh-huh.
But when they're when they want it to be kind of vibrant and this is a healthy meal almost. That's the subtle subtext. It'll be
It's
all
healthy.
colorful. But if they
Yeah,
want
it's
to
all
get you
healthy.
with comfort food, this is comfort food. If it's a comfort food subtext, everything's brown.
Everything's brown. Because I guess brown is comfortable.
Well, brown is deep fried. Brown is brown. It's all that high density. Like a Long John Silver's menu. It's all brown.
That's all
Unless you
brown.
get the vegetables.
And even those are brown.
Make sure you follow Drake's rule: 3 colors on a plate.
3 colors on a plate.
Three distinct colors on a plate, or you don't have a meal.
I was gonna say because shades of brown don't count.
No, they do
might
not.
be 3 different colors, but they're all the same base color. Brown.
Right, brown. So 3 colors on a plate.
Hey, mashed potatoes are white.
They're brownish.
No, they're
just
white.
Right, as in they just have less melanin in them. That's all.
Right, white gravy. Got some white gravy on my mashed potatoes.
Condiments
That's different colors.
don't count.
2 colors. That's
Condiments
2 colors.
don't count. No, ketchup is red. It doesn't count.
That's 3 colors. That's 3 colors. That's brown, red, and white. That's 3 colors.
Just go get 3 colors of plastic. You're fine.
You knew I was going to rules lawyer this as soon as you said it. Come on.
I know. Yeah, you missed your call. You should have been a truck driver. You need to be a defense attorney is what you need to be.
You always told me words mean things. You said 3 colors. That's 3 colors.
But you're not going with the spirit. You have to go with the spirit of the law.
Sir, I have fulfilled the requirement. The defense rests.
I'm having flashbacks of raising a teenager here. I need to have a good lie down.
See what's happened is you raised the rules lawyer. You raised the defense attorney.
I know. It's my father. My father told me, it says at one point he and I were not. It happens. As the youngsters get ready to leave the nest. He says, "I hope you have a child just like you."
So you got worse. You got a child that is you, not just like you. It is you. I could be confused for a clone. I was grown enough.
It's happened. It's happened. Although
it's happened.
I know I'm a little more old man lately, so it's a little easier.
I'm just but younger.
You can tell the difference. Just look for the guy choking on his own wardrobe. You'll be able to tell the difference.
Right. Well, I don't know. Even that's a little suspect because even I've choked on my own wardrobe a few times. You ever get your overalls caught in a door handle? Because I have.
You ever eaten a plywood table?
I've definitely had my overalls get caught on like a screen door handle and just go, "Oh, what's going on?"
Okay, so you probably have the same problem I've had, where you get your brand new pair of pants or your shirt that you've been waiting for that's finally arrived, and you go out and use it, and you catch it on something, and it rips it wide open. It's like, oh, come on!
Oh, come on! Yep. I got a Carhartt shirt somewhere at the house. It's been torn open from stem to stern because it got caught. I was working at a plastic pipe plant because they make that corrugated pipe for like drainage ditches and stuff.
Yeah.
And I was working the spinner, so like it rolls it as it's coming out of the machine, and it caught the bottom of my shirt and just it had some guts to it. It caught the bottom of my shirt and just yanked it upwards and just ripped it in half.
Yeah. Yep.
Because I've got a bit of a prodigious gut. So my gut got a little too close to the spinny swirly machine, and it didn't work out so good.
Well, in my case, I just forgot to lube the door jamb to get my
Yeah.
walrus through it.
Yeah, it happens. That happens.
But speaking of things that'll lay you open, I learned the hard way. I was a teenager. I was putting a radio in from my dad in his Pinto, right?
Yeah.
And Dad ordered
Zip
always. Oh, that would have been so awesome. This was pre-zip tie, man. This was like stainless steel band clamps, and it was hose clamps and
hose clamps and razor blades.
He let me drill the hole for the antenna in the fender, the passenger side fender for the radio. Because we got a radio from
like Sears and Roebuck or something.
It was my uncle's Ford Econoline, and they for whatever reason they didn't want that. And it was the old Econolines where you're kind of had a stubby nose. It didn't have the
Scooby-Doo Econolines.
Yeah, right, one of those. And so I'm drilling the hole for the antenna in the fender.
The wiring harness
for the antenna, for mount the antenna on.
No, and then you hit the wiring harness
and the heater core lines.
Yeah, right through.
That was a pretty trusting thing for
a father to let his son do. Yes.
Yeah, drill the fender in the new car. Yeah, but he let me do it, and it was great. And I got through it, got the bigger bit on there. We didn't have a Christmas tree bit, a step bit, so I was just using sequentially larger drills. And the larger drill, it was what I learned. You'd think I learned this lesson. I went to swipe away a chip of metal, right, with my hand. Only the chip was still attached. So just rub your hand on a razor blade. Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm like, man.
And then there's tears and blood and.
No, I kind of sucked it up because I didn't want to be not trusted to drill anything. So I just kind of suck it up.
Walk it off, rub some dirt in it.
So yeah, right, exactly it. And so we got the radio in. It was an AM, old AM Philco.
Yeah, got blood all over it.
Right. That just that enhances the reception. So you would think I would learn. Right. This relates back to last week's podcast where you'd think I would learn, but no.
No.
Later on, I'm working in a muffler shop, and where you cut and bend the pipes, right? And so the cutter cuts the pipe, but it leaves this little tang of metal, right?
Yeah, little nubbin.
Right, and those those are sharp as.
Yeah, they basically are razor blades.
Right.
Sorry, temperature changes.
So I'm like, okay, I'm just going to carefully move this out of the way. I sliced the first knuckle on the middle finger of my right hand down.
That's why you still have that piece of metal.
Right.
In your
it's still dark. Yeah, it's still dark from that. Yeah. They went and irrigated, cleaned it up and all that, but it's still down in there. Yeah. It's the little bits of coating or whatever. Yeah, but it makes me wonder what happens if I got to get an MRI, because it's going to
you'll get some cool Swiss cheese finger going on.
Yeah. I don't think that would be pleasant. That would
no one said it would be pleasant. I just said that's what would happen.
Turn on the machine, first thing that happens is my hand goes ding to the edge, and then all of a sudden the metal is slowly extracted through the skin. Pass.
Slating full.
Yeah, no, I'll pass on that. Doesn't sound like fun. So now, finally, here I am, old man. Now I finally learned. I was cutting the metal for the deer blind. And there were like little bits and shards and whatever. I'm like, oh no, you're not fooling me.
You're not fooling me.
I took care of that. I got a pair of pliers. I'm taking those. No way.
Yeah, see, I always got made fun of for wearing gloves for dealing with metal and stuff like that. Oh, why are you wearing gloves?
Made fun of you for that.
Because that stuff is, when I worked in Menards, the guys would slide the metal without gloves on, and I'd be like, no, putting gloves on,
I want
thank
my
you.
Fingers. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, they all made fun of me until one guy almost cut his finger off doing it. And suddenly it was the cool thing to wear gloves everywhere. I'm like, yeah, no,
all the kids are doing it.
No kidding. And then they're all of a sudden asking me about what gloves I will use. I'm like, I use mechanics gloves mostly, but I have cut-proof ones for the sheet metal. The stuff that's really sharp.
Need to get another set of mechanics gloves because I was going to handle the metal like you're talking about. I'm going to get my mechanics gloves where I know I always have them, and there's only one.
Oh,
come
you
on.
got glove faired.
Did the sock monster come by? You know what I'm talking about? The sock monster
Yeah,
that
sock
comes
monster. It's also known as your dryer.
Steals the socks out of the dryer. Yeah, but my gloves weren't anywhere near the dryer. They were in the pocket of the door of my van.
You got bored.
I guess.
Went looking for stuff. You know, you're not providing him enough socks, so you had to take care of the. You know.
I think it made a break for it when the van was in for service at the dealer because it was in the door.
Oh, probably.
Of the van. Yeah.
That's why I got a whole. I got a whole. In true Midwestern fashion, you use shopping bags for everything. If once they've served their initial purpose of getting your groceries into your house.
It's Midwestern recycling.
That's Midwestern recycling, exactly. I have an entire bag full of gloves of mechanics gloves that are still together, that are still like brand new. I haven't used them yet. That is my supply of gloves.
Oh, your supply. So okay, I always thought you had it was all of mismatched, and they're all like left-handed or something.
No, that's under my bunk. I got like one that's because I got like one that's got like bones on it, and I got one left hand of that, and then I got a right hand of like a woodland camel one.
And it just goes to show you that socks and gloves don't get along. The two pairs,
they fight.
Like the right and left of the sock, or the right and left.
Your left and right Twix, your left and right gloves do not get along.
No, they don't. I think it's because they're made together, they're packaged together, they got to hang on the shelf together, and then by the time they get to the end user, they get to you, they're sick of each other. They're just sick of it because you store them together.
Or maybe it's like a favoritism thing because like everybody's got a dominant hand,
right?
So like you lost your left glove,
yeah,
right? So you always put your right glove on first because that's your dominant hand. So maybe the left gloves just got tired of getting left out.
I guess. Well, to prove that theory, I have a pair of mechanics gloves in my gray fleece hoodie that have been in there
gotta put the other one on
years.
First.
Well, no, I just put on whichever one's most convenient to start with, so it's not always the same.
Yeah.
And they're stored separately. The left one's in the left pocket, right one's in the right pocket.
I don't know. Maybe it's a little bit of both. Maybe it's like they're getting tired of each other, and then all of a sudden you start using them, and I was like, oh sure, you get picked to put on first. You get used more than I do.
But if they're stored separately, then they're each special, and then as soon as you reach in to grab it, they're like, woo! Right.
Yeah. I just kind of leave mine in the
The only gloves that you lose, like you lose one, are the gloves that you store together. Think about it.
Yeah, you store them in the same pocket. Although I store mine together, and
they
don't get lost, but they also get stored with a bunch of other gloves. So they all get to kind of hang out and intermingle. Like I've definitely found two different gloves hanging out with each other, and then I got to go find its partner somewhere underneath there.
And then, and that one, and the other one's drunk and laying on the floor.
Right, it's like under 6 other things, and like
it's
in the back somehow. Like I was just wearing this. How did it get back here?
Oh man, Randy, what happened to you, man?
Oh, Barbie, what happened to you?
Well, let me tell you.
I don't know.
So
I think that's the only reason that mine won't take off
if you have trouble keeping gloves, try the two pockets approach.
Yeah, so separate pockets, separate.
Right.
Lift and separate.
Well, no, that's something completely different.
Oh.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, but you store them in separate pockets. Yeah, keep them separate. You got to keep them like the Offspring said. You got to keep them separated.
Right. Keep them happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Break time.
Oh, is that your electronic log telling you that you got to knock it off?
No, it's my. I meant like actual breaks, not like I have to take a break. Like I need to get on the brakes.
Oh.
Spelled differently,
I don't know.
Not BRAKE. Break as in stop, not break as in. Well, wait, that's also stop. Wait, what? What did I do here? What's happened? They both mean stop. It's just different kinds of stop.
Did you just drive through an intersection and scare a family of 5?
No, it's a little misty, rainy, and the people in front of me were on the brakes. No, I did that. I don't have to do that in this truck. I did that a long time ago in the gray van when the exhaust fell off. I couldn't stop for a light, because the steering wheel was kind of a vague suggestion, and the brakes were
just driving the
functional.
Titanic. What can I say?
Yeah, when you could turn the wheel almost a quarter turn in each direction, and it did absolutely nothing.
It's a feature.
That's sure. It's the distracted driving feature. You can not
Right.
pay attention at all, and that thing will just lock in on one heading.
Right. It prevents you from causing a problem by yanking the wheel wildly. Because you
Right.
can yank the
But
wheel
by
wildly
realizing
and
you're
nothing
not paying
happens.
attention, and then by realizing you're not paying attention and yanking the wheel one direction or the other, that thing just doesn't do anything at all.
It'll think, well, I guess we should possibly might want to think about going over that direction eventually.
Maybe. Never mind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was the steering wheel was a suggestion at best. It was you were asking for permission from the van to turn a specific
And it was
direction.
interesting too that I had replaced all of the steering gear on that van too, and it was
and it still was sloppy as all get out.
It was very perplexing.
I think the van just liked it that way.
Yeah, it did.
It was very wandery. It just liked to kind of hang
made
out.
It made it even more special to put that hopped up 302 in it.
Oh yeah, that's what kept me from getting T-boned at the light because I couldn't stop. And I was like, okay, well I guess we're going through it. So I just stood on the throttle and I had no exhaust. So I was pre-cats. So
trophy truck,
full throttle through the intersection. Kind of looks like an ambulance, that guy's got to go somewhere in a hurry.
That's right. Yeah,
I actually saw the nose of the van comes up, and I saw people start to go at the green light and then stop.
Nope, that's right.
Nope. Don't know what that is, but nope.
Nope.
Nope. Not gonna do it. Wouldn't be prudent.
That was the van that we had all the company. Well, actually, a lot of our vehicles have all of our vehicles had company, logos
Company
and
stuff
stuff on it. But that one was completely just like as wrapped as any of them would have had.
Yeah, it was for the time. For sure.
Yeah.
That was more wrapped than most vehicles were at the time.
And it was all reflective.
Yeah, it was like an ambulance. It really was. It did kind of look like some kind of weird off-brand ambulance,
especially at night. And it was kind of funny when I slid the van to the sideways at the intersection there. There's two big intersections because the guy turned left in front of me.
Wasn't that the green van that you did that with?
Well, no, that was that. It's happened in all the vans because
maybe you should avoid that intersection.
Ford had it's the Ford van cloak of invisibility.
Yeah, you can never find a switch to turn it off.
No, it turns out the what you have to do is you have to put stripes on it or something. I don't know.
No, that van had stripes. The gray one had stripes.
Yeah, but it didn't have like my latest one. I put stripes down the hood.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It makes that one did have big holes in the hood because the new engine got a little hot.
It had the extractors in the hood, right?
Yeah. And the engine got a little hot in that van body. It was not happy.
Right.
And it let you know about it too. It also hit overdrive at like 103, but that's not the point.
With the vague steering, it's like the Titanic
right.
and the inevitable. There is an inevitable iceberg at some point doing that.
Yeah. You're not reacting to anything in that van quickly.
No.
You're not stopping. You're not turning. Best I could do
when the guy turned in front of me, I did not have the ability to turn where he came from, so I had to turn with him and skid the van sideways and then come to a stop. And there was the county sheriff right there. So he lights the guy up who turned in front of me. And so we got all the vehicles on the side of the road, and it's dark. And so the street lights and the other traffic are lighting up all the reflective stuff on the side of the van. And the guy's like, well, I didn't see him. And the sheriff's like, how do you miss that? Guy looks at the van.
How do you miss that strobe show?
He's like, all right, you're taking the breathalyzer. Let's go.
That's right. You're going downtown, pal. What was like the lady? Do you remember the lady that called us in when we were coming back from up north? And she called us in because she said we were trying to pull her over in the Grand Marquis. Yeah. So we had a Grand Marquis, and it looked kind of like a cop car, but it was all tan.
Very much so.
But it was all tan, and it just had the big badges on the doors, and it had a big light bar on the top. And I think that light bar was from that van.
Yes,
originally.
It was. Yeah.
And so we had a big light bar on the top. So it was all amber.
Mm-hmm.
And
it looked like somewhere between a cop car and a pilot car. No, pilot car.
It's pilot car. It's like cop car, rent a car, rent a cop, pilot car, somewhere in there, right?
Right.
And she called us in because we were going to break. We were going home, and we were following her. And I guess she thought we were following too close or whatever, or too aggressively.
Well, it wasn't. We were a little close because she's going like 35 in the hammer lane, in the number one lane.
And so
like doing her makeup, reading a book,
whatever, whatever she's doing.
Chatting on the phone, whatever she's doing.
So we get into Braidwood, and we get swarmed with cops.
Leave the names out of it for plausible deniability.
No, I didn't. I just named the town. I didn't name anything else. There could be many Braidwoods.
I call the Braidwood Inn. Oh, are you saying I'm stuck in Wichita?
Right.
I could be stuck in Wichita. No, I'm saying you are stuck in Wichita.
So we get there. We get swarmed with cops. We get pulled. It's like 3 or 4 cops pull the car over. And they're like, well, she's saying you had your light bar going and you were trying to pull her over. And I believe I was the one that pulled the cable out of the back seat, showed it to the officer and go, it's not connected.
Yeah, that's right.
And the officer goes, oh. It's like, it's just the end. Like I'm pulling the cable out from under the seat and I pull the just frayed, disconnected end of the gray cable and I just follow it up to the light bar and I go, look, it's not connected.
Right.
And he goes, oh, well, okay.
Carry on.
Carry on.
Carry on. Like it's just the look. It's just the look for the company. I mean, we were. Yeah,
you were explaining it to a different officer, and he's talking to me like because they've got to separate it because they're trying to get everybody's stories.
Right.
And I think I was just there by the back door, and I just opened the back door and pulled the end of the cable out to show the officer, like, look, it's not gonna. I'm a kid. I was like, what, probably 13, 14 at that point?
Yeah, probably about that, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm like, look, it's not connected. Like, just being a kid. Like, look, it's not connected to anything. It's like, how could we have had the light bar and it's not connected,
Right.
He goes, oh, well, okay then. And then that kind of ended the whole thing because, like, her whole story was hinged on us having the light bar on, trying to pull her over. And then she tried to say that it was the sun glinting off it or something. I don't know. They let us go eventually and then held her, because they had pulled us both over together.
Did they?
Because they had her off on one street.
Yeah, she was with them, right? I think, yeah.
Yeah, because she was with them, or we kind of had followed her.
She was back there with like the 6th cop car.
Yeah.
It's like, you cops have anything else to do? No. Okay, fine.
Okay.
By the way, there's a drug house next to the gas station. Yeah, we know, but
right. Yeah, we know. The one that's been run into several times. Yeah, that one. Yeah. But that was I just remember that memory has always stuck out to me. It's just really funny. It's like,
seared in my memory. Yeah. Well, I used to stop at that gas station all the time and get fuel.
Yeah, we did.
Kind of right there, kind of where they got pulled over. And it really was a drug house that was there, and you'd sit there and watch and whatever. And one day it's getting raided. I'm filling up. I'm going in to pay the clerk, and there's like every cop in the tri-state areas there.
The tri-state area used to be a bi-state area with an adjacent area over there. What people don't know is that originally it was 3 distinct single-state areas, but people don't care.
And so I just offhand mentioned to the cashier, and there's another cop there, and standing there, he's getting coffee for everybody, I guess, or whatever he's doing. And I said, "Oh, so I see they finally hit that drug house." And she looks at the cop and she says, "See, even the computer guy knows that's a drug house."
Even he knows it's a drug house.
That's right. That which belies there's probably been an ongoing conversation.
Well, I'm sure the denizens of that particular residence have been causing some problems for the people of that particular gas station.
For a long time. And of course the gas station and the cops, like, typical cop reaction. We'll look into it.
Yeah.
And so there was a certain amount of frustration in that cashier's voice. See?
Yeah, they're giving them the Hamburglar response.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Rumble, rumble, rumble.
Boy, you mean on everything else, this ship is rigged?
Yeah, it is.
Well, okay then. Just the boldness of that lady to call us in. Like, they're pulling me over.
Yeah.
Not that I've never wanted to pull some people over. Just, come on.
Oh, I've wanted.
They're not even red and blue. So even if they were going, like, there's no, they're amber. Big amber lenses. Yes, he's pulling me over with amber lenses.
Right.
I've been like, oh, what's this pilot car doing?
Right.
I don't see an oversized load around here. What's this guy gonna do? What's this guy on about? I've definitely seen my fair share of pilot cars going down the road all by themselves, with the pole and the lights going, and then about 20 minutes later, here comes the load.
Well, I've seen construction vehicles and all that, survey vehicles, all with the amber.
Yeah, volunteer
strobes and-
firefighters down where we live tend to have the strobes in their
Those-
vehicles.
Yeah, but they're blue.
Right, but they're still like the headlights and stuff will still strobe and all that.
Yeah. So what do you know? She's just sore.
You know
That's
what-
all.
You know what throws me off?
It goes back to the same thing that you were talking about.
I was wrong.
Last week's
last
podcast
week.
about the guy.
Yes, I was
Yeah.
wrong, and I'm going to double down on it. Yes, it's been a
Right.
problem for decades. It's not new.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
throws me off is that emergency vehicles in several states have the same colors as the police. One of them is Missouri, and I think the other one's Nebraska.
Oh yeah,
Where,
Missouri.
like,
Yeah.
you'll be coming on the construction zone, and you'll see reds and blues everywhere. Like, oh, what's this? And it's just
Right.
construction truck. It's just a construction truck with red and blue
Yeah.
lights.
Right.
Like, oh, I wanted to
Because
see an
they-
upside down, like, you know.
Well, they're getting the
wanted to see
reaction they
something
want. They
spectacular.
want you to slow down for the construction site. So
I was
they put
going to
the
slow
reds and
down for
blues
the
on.
construction site anyway.
Nobody slows down for the construction sites. You know
I always
that.
slow down for the construction sites.
I do too, and I don't speed through small towns either. So yeah.
No.
Uh-uh.
If Smokey and the Bandits taught me anything, is that the last place you want to be speeding is through a small town.
That's
You might
right.
end up with a crazy lady in your passenger seat and a fat guy in a cop car with his son-in-law and a basset hound chasing you across state lines.
Buford T. Justin. That's
Do you
right.
think that's his original name, or do you think he changed his name when he became sheriff to Justice?
Well,
or is it
I
the
don't know.
Rokon theory of naming of names?
it
fulfilling
is the Rokon
jobs?
name theory, because that one guy, the one cop that we knew over in the big town, his name was Johnny Law.
Yeah. His name's Johnny Law. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
That's
now if it's Square Nuts, then you think it might be a name change.
yeah, but then you got to
Officer Square Nuts. Mm-hmm.
yeah, but then you got to be an officer in the military. You got to be like Lieutenant Square Nuts or something. General
Yeah, like
ranker.
there's that one news reporter. He's like a field reporter, and his first name is Major. Just imagine if he was in the army or the military.
Major.
Right.
There's a joke. There is a movie where one of the characters is named Major, and his last name is Major, and his name is Major, and they get him confused that he's a major, even though he's a
Right.
private. He's private Major, and they realize their mistake when they start talking to him, and they're like, "Well, what do we do?" Now, and then the general's like, "I don't. Just make him a major." So now he's Major.
You'd have to, and then you can. That's how you summon him to
Well,
the
so-
battlefield. You just
Major.
call his name.
It's
Right.
like Beetlejuicing. Yeah, they
Right.
Beetlejuice him. But it's just he's like, "No, sir, I'm a private." What? No, he says you're a major. He's like, "No, sir, that's my name, Major." "Oh, what's your first
Right.
name, Major?" "Oh, what's my middle name?" "What's your middle name, Major?" "So your name is Major?" "Yes." Your parents had a sick sense of humor.
It happens.
It
Like,
does.
didn't George Foreman name all his kids George or something
All
like
his
that?
sons were named George Foreman. Yes.
Yeah. So
A bunch of them have changed their name legally now, but yeah, originally they were all named George Foreman.
you'd have
Listen,
to, right?
If you're a heavyweight boxer and you've taken that many hits to the head professionally, eventually something's going to give. And if the worst thing that happens is you sell some mildly good grills and name all your kids George, you know what? That's fine.
Well, maybe because the boys were close in age and they're always getting in trouble, and as a parent, then he could just go George. What?
Right, and whichever ones were in trouble will respond, or they'll all respond.
Right.
If you haven't seen it, I should send it to you sometime. There's a really cute video of a dad yelling at his kid. It's like, "Harper, come on!" And his other little daughter comes running up and he goes, "No, Daddy, Harper, Daddy, Harper." And she's like, because it's twin girls, and the
Yeah.
girl's like, "No, Harper." And she's pointing. She's like pointing at herself, and then she goes, "Daddy," and she points at her dad. "Harper, Daddy, Harper." He's like, "Well, then who's that?" He's like, "So whatever the other girl." She goes, "That's whatever the other girl's name is."
I can do this all
Oh.
day.
Because the one girl's always tired of getting blamed for the other one's crap.
That's right. You know
She's
it.
got to go over and remind Dad, like, no. That's the other one. I'm the good one. That's the crappy one over there.
Just like and that's what's going on with your gloves and your socks. So, Give them all their own space. And with
Give
on
them their own
that
space.
on that safety tip, we're going to have to call it
Is
for
a
another
safety
week.
Tip? It's a tip.
You
I don't know if it's a safety tip.
It's something. Thanks for
So
listening
much
to
like the
this
episode.
garbage.
Yes,
And,
excellent garbage.
We
For most first, it's just a compliment. You'll love it. It's putrid.
and so thanks for listening. Hope to see you again soon. And let's be careful.
Yes.
Fire, pleasure, your wow.
Skip to the end.
Find that stop.
You find the button. Who's got the button?
Yeah.
What's that from? That's from a movie too, but I can't think of what movie.
It's all movies at this point.
And they're all bleeding together.
Some of it's our own stuff, and we can't tell the difference anymore. It's all just
Well,
blended.
you know, when you're better at writing than most of Hollywood, it's kind of hard to differentiate.
We'll have to do an episode of that. Drake and the Maestro's alternate movie endings or something, you know?
Or alternate
intros
movies.
or beginnings or alternate movies, yeah. The Drake and the Maestro alternate movie universe. That's it. Got it.
They're movie podcasts. That's a movie podcast about nothing.
Right. Here we go. Found it.